Good morning, class. I hope you all are doing good. In the previous class, we had started with our second chapter, the Vedic period, in which we had discussed till the social life of the Rig Vedic period. Today we will start with the economic life of the Rig Vedic Aryans. Agriculture. Agriculture was the chief occupation of the Aryans. Barley and rice were the main products, but cotton and oil seeds were also produced. There were wells and canals for irrigation. The Aryans generally lived in villages. Therefore, the Rig Vedic Aryans belonged to an agricultural society. Domestication of animals. Domestication of animals was their another main profession. It means domestication of animal was another main profession of the Rig Vedic Aryans, and the cattle were regarded as their property. Their domestic animals included horse, the cow, the bull, the sheep and the goat. But cows were regarded as the biggest possession. Cows were held in great esteem. Now we will talk about the trade of the Rig Vedic Aryan. Trade was also the chief profession of the Rig Vedic Aryans. The barter system was popular, and generally commodities were exchanged against each other. Children, now what do you mean by barter system? Barter system was a system in which goods and services were exchanged for goods and services. In other words, we can say that in barter system money was not involved. Generally, cow was the medium of exchange. Some historians believe that some kind of a coin called the Nishka was prevalent. Trade was carried both by the land and water. Now, what were the other occupation and crafts of the Rig Vedic Aryans? Besides the above occupations, the Aryans were engaged in building chariots, making ornaments and weapons, weaving, leather dyeing, making earthen pottery, etc. There were also doctors who practiced the herbal treatment. Now we will study about the religion life of the Rig Vedic Aryans. See children, the ancient Aryans were highly religious, but their religion was very simple. They were religious, but their religion was very simple, and they worshipped nature god such as the sun, the fire, the wind, the dawn, the water, the rain and the home and the earth. Indra, Varuna and Agni were the chief gods. Indra was the war god, and god of rains. Varuna was the god of water, of seas, and upholder of the natural order. Now we come to the political. The Aryans did not worship their gods in temple, nor did they worship idols. Yajna or Havan were the major part of their religious duty, and they were performed by the family members themselves. Now we will discuss about the political organization and administration of the Rigvedic Aryans. Status of the king. The early Aryans lived in tribes which they called Janas. Each Jana had its own chief or king, who was generally a hereditary successor. But in case if the king proved to be cruel, they had the right to replace him by choosing another king. The king had to seek and secure the help of his people for his own safety against his enemies. He could not exercise limited authority in the discharge of his duties, which is to defend his people, to give them justice and lead them in the war, etc. Then we come to the king and his ministers. There were several ministers, especially the commander-in-chief and Purohit, to assist the king in the discharge of his administrative duties. See, these ministers were highly experienced and quite able. They could serve their people by giving proper advice to the king. These ministers used to give advice to their kings. Local self-government. Local self-government was an important institution. The Gramini was the chief functionary in a village. The whole village administration was his responsibility. Whose responsibility? It was the responsibility of the Gramini. He maintained peace and order in the village, and in times of war led the people to the battlefield. He was also the chief of the village council or the Gram Sabha and decided small cases. The Gramini was responsible to get the king's order executed. In the village, he held the most responsible post. Now, we will discuss about the Sabha and the Samiti. There were two councils of chosen members from among the people to assist the king. One of them was called the Sabha, while the other was called the Samiti. The Samiti was a body that represented the whole tribe, while the Sabha was composed of only the distinguished members. Now we will discuss about the method of warfare of the Rigvedic Aryans. The Aryans fought wars on foot or while riding on the horseback or riding the chariots. The kings and the nobles usually fought on the horseback or in the chariots, while the infantry or the soldiers fought on foot. The chief weapons of war were the bows and arrows, spears, axes, mace, etc. The Rigvedic administration was purely tribal. As the tribes were always on the move, shifting from one place to another, there could not be no stable government. Children, we have discussed about the political organization and administration. Now we will discuss about the later Vedic civilization. See, the period between 1000 BCE to 600 BCE is known as the later Vedic period. The sources of this period include all the Vedas and the Vedic literature except the Rig Veda. That is the Yajurveda, the Samveda and the Atharvaveda. These come in the later Vedic period. Some other are the Brahmanas, the Aranyakas, the Upanishads, the Sutras, the Puranas, the Ramayana and Mahabharata. These all comes in the later Vedic period. Now we will discuss about the political life in the later Vedic period. Spread of the Aryans. The Aryans had spread to the inner parts of India. Generally, they had occupied the whole of northern India. Powerful empires. Small tribal states had vanished, and in their place, new powerful empires of Kulu, Panchal, Kosala, Magad, Kashi, Anga, etc. had come into being. The state had expanded both in their territories and powers. Now next comes the increased powers of the king. The king had increased their powers. The king no longer recognized the authority of the Sabha or the Samiti. The kingship had become purely hereditary. The king looked after the welfare of his people. His chief duties, as before, were to keep peace in his kingdom and to protect the people against foreign invasions, to punish the wrongdoers and to dispense with justice. Then we will study about the more state officials to assist. See, during the Rig Vedic period, the king was assisted by his Purohit, Commander-in-Chief and Gramini. But now there was a large army of new officials such as the treasurer, the personal attendants, the chief justice, the prison officers, etc. Many new officials had been inducted to carry out the royal duties. Then there was a change in the mode of warfare. The art of warfare had also undergone some minor changes. There were some minor changes. Now kings kept standing armies composed of people other than the Kshatriyas, so as to embark upon new conquest. New weapons began to be used in the war. Children, now we will discuss about the social life in the later Vedic period. First we discussed about the early Vedic period, but now we will discuss what was the change or in the status of the woman in the later Vedic period. By the time the status of the woman had degraded as compared to the status in the Rig Vedic period. As compared to the Rig Vedic period, the status of the woman was degraded. The women lost their position both in religious and social field. They were not allowed to participate in any of the religious function or affairs of the state. The kings and the nobles began to keep several wives. Birth of a daughter was regarded as an unfortunate event. The princesses were allowed to choose their own husband. There was as yet no such thing as early marriage, the Parda system and the Sati system. Now, what were the importance of Kshatriyas? The priests were honored, but the power of the state had fully passed into the hands of the king. All the powers went into the hands of the king who belonged to the Kshatriya class. Now the center of power was not the priest but the king. Rigidity of the caste system. The caste system had become rigid. Transformation from one caste to another had become very difficult. Multiple caste system had replaced the system of the Varnas. Then we come to the moral degeneration of the nobles, which means moral decline or moral downfall of the nobles. The nobility has degenerated. Polygamy was a frequent evil among them. Gambling and drinking had taken firm roots. Killing enemies by deceit was a common practice. Stagnant life of the common man. See, there was not much change in the living habits, food and clothing of the common man. They lived in small towns. Agriculture was the mainstay and man's life was divided into 4 parts called the ashram. Still, the man's life was the same as seen in the Rigvedic period. Now, what was the economic life during the Vedic period? In Vedic period, first we will talk about the agriculture. When we talk about the economic life, we will talk about agriculture. In Vedic period, agriculture was the chief occupation. The means of cultivation had improved and irrigation had begun to be done through small channels. Then, after agriculture, domestication of animal was the chief occupation of the later Vedic period. Trade was another major occupation. The traders had organized themselves into various associations which looked after their interest. Several coins as the Nishka, Satamana and Krishnamana were used as a medium of exchange. These coins were used as a medium of exchange. There were growth in the cities. The Rigvedic period lived in small villages. But now several towns like Ayodhya, Hastinapur, Kushambi, Mathura, Indraprastha, etc. had grown. After economic life, we will discuss the religious life of the later Vedic period. See, in the Rigvedic period, nature gods were worshipped. Nature gods such as Surya, Prithvi, Agni were now replaced by new gods such as Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Then the religion became very complex. In Rigvedic period, the religion was very simple, but in later Vedic period, the religion became very simple, very complex, because new rituals and sacrifice were introduced in the new religion. There was a growing tendency towards sacrifice. The religious practice, because of all these things, the religious practice had become so complex that it was beyond the reach of the common people. The people now developed firm faith in charms and magic, which they practiced to ward off, to cure disease. Then faith in. Now the people believed that the visible world was not real, which they must discard to obtain ultimate salvation. Besides, man must perform good deeds to free himself from the cycle of rebirth. Then there was an increase in the importance of the Brahmanas. See, in the Rigvedic, the religion was simple and the ordinary householders were able to perform simple religious ceremonies by themselves. But in later Vedic period, the religion became very complex and it became impossible for the householders to perform different yajnas and sacrifices. These yajnas and sacrifices were done by the Brahmins in the later Vedic period, so their importance increased. Children, in the beginning of the chapter 2, we discussed about the Rigvedic civilization, and today we discussed about the later Vedic civilization. After studying about the early Vedic and or the Rigvedic or the later Vedic civilization, we can make out the difference in the two. What were the differences? We will see to it. See, there was a difference in the caste system. During the Rigvedic, the society was divided into Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Sudras. Then transformation from one caste to another was much difficult in the later Vedic age. Then status of women in the Rigvedic, we discussed that the women were respected, they were given higher education and they were allowed to participate in all the functions and festivals. But in later Vedic period, the status of the woman changed. They were disrespected, and the nobles kept many wives, and the birth of a daughter was an unfortunate event. Then the difference in the economic, trade and occupation. First, agriculture was the chief occupation. Domestication of animal was also there. Important occupation. Trade was also popular. But in the later Vedic period, with the introduction of coinage, transaction had become easier. Growth in cities. In the Rigvedic civilization, people lived in villages, but in later Vedic, there were new towns, the new towns of Mathura, Ayodhya, Hastinapur, Kaushambi, etc. Then difference in the religious life. In Rigvedic period, the religion was simple and they worshipped nature god, and all the ceremonies were done by themselves. But in later Vedic period, the religion became complex and it became difficult or impossible for the householders to perform the ceremony. Then new gods were replaced. The new gods of the later Vedic period were Brahma, Shiva. Differences in the political life. In Rigvedic period, there were no kingdoms, but in later Vedic period, we find big kingdoms such as Kuru, Panchal, Kosala, Magad, Kashi, Anga, etc. See, in the Rigvedic period, the king had very few powers, but in later Vedic period, the kings considered and possessed with divine powers. New officials. In the Rigvedic phase, the king had only a few officials to assist him. But in the later Vedic period, there were several new officials such as Nyayadhish, Dwarpala, treasurer, prison officer, etc. There was a change in the mode of warfare. The Rigvedic king himself went to the battlefield and led his armies. But now they sent their armies led by the commanders. Elephants were used in the battles to crush the enemy resistance. Poisoned arrowheads and explosives were also used for such purposes. The Rigvedic code of fair play, which prohibited indiscriminate killing of children, women and old or armless people, was neglected to suit the nefarious ends of obtaining an easy victory. All methods employed to defeat thoroughly the enemy. So these were the differences in the Rigvedic period and later Vedic period. With this, we end our second chapter. I hope you all must have understood. Read the chapter, go through all the points. Thank you.